Good morning, good afternoon, good evening if you're watching this on YouTube some evening. Welcome to the AHGL Season 5 Game 2 between Google Cardboard and Tableau software. The AHGL format is a best of 5 series with the first 4 matchups predetermined, and then the 5th one, if it comes to that, chosen dynamically. Each team gets to choose their player for the ace match at that time in secret. But we are starting game 1 here. The match record is 0-0. We're going to have a TVZ here on Expedition Lost, Ladder Edition. We have Maarfon, the red Zerg, spawning for Google Cardboard here in the northeasterly position. And we have Leverer. I'm probably going to wind up calling him Lever at multiple points throughout this cast. The blue Terran spawning here for Tableau software in the southwesterly position. This map is it's a fairly medium-sized map. You have very exposed gold bases here in the middle around this ravine. This ravine is definitely very easily abusable by tanks and also mutalisks. So we may see that come into play. SCV going out, starting that supply depot. Extractor trick, it looks like, to get to that early 11 drone count for our Zerg player. Bit too early to read anything just yet. We do have the Overlord going straight for the Terran base, so he should be able to get a decent scout in the early mid-game. We'll see those 3 additional drones started now. No early pool here for the Zerg. Barracks, and let's see the gas timing. He does start the 13th SCV, so he's not going to get the Quick Reaper Scout. We'll see when he does throw down that gas, or if he does not. Maybe going for an early CC. And with the 14th, alright, so now he starts the gas. So a fairly light gas. He will not be getting a Quick Reaper. If he does get one, Queens will be out, Lings will be out. Especially with Spawning Pool first going down here for the Zerg. Second depot going down, so he does want to definitely deny that drone scout. He actually delays the barracks to do it. He uses that same SCV, so it does save some mining time, but it does make this barracks more delayed. Gas finishes, and it looks like he will put... Uh-oh. We have a little bit of lag. Not sure who we will address that. If it continues. Hatchery down. Second Overlord moving out. And Marine starting here. So this Overlord needs to be careful. A lot of professional players in the current meta game will actually float their Overlord directly over the barracks, even at his building, because most Terran players will always build a Reaper first. They're not afraid of Marine, even if they haven't seen the gas, because everyone goes for a Reaper. And the reason that they go for that Reaper is to get the intelligence on the Zerg. Without that intelligence, choosing when to float out this expansion is very much a guessing game for the Terran. He will plop it down now. And Zerg is actually throwing down a defensive Spine Crawler. Possibly protect from Reapers. This could come in handy against drops later, but it's definitely unnecessary at this point. Factory going down. A little bit late given the gas count. So these are going to be going... He's not starting Reactor on the barracks, so it's not Hellions, probably. He may be going for Banshee. At any rate, the Overlord is not going to see it. Not with these 2 Marines babysitting the base like this. You have an Overlord watching the actual, so he will know when that base is moving out. He does lift the barracks out of the wall, and he's going to start a tech lab way over here. So that's either going to be for bio upgrades, or he may be going for a quick start work to get that mansion. Reactor on the factory, so he is going to go for Hellions, probably. Transition to Widow Mines after that. Both players on relatively even economy. But they can start building. He does. Baneling Nest going. So we may see some aggression from that. There's one Zerg that's actually doing a lot of work I think that's the first one is slaying this bunker. He will get slain. He is aware that the Terran either is taking an expansion or wants to make the Zerg believe he's taking an expansion. Second spine color goes to him, so he may be anticipating this as a fake. Baitingness is done. Speed about 20 seconds from complete. Orbital floats over now, and the Zerg will see that. Know what his turn opponent is up to. Stim started. This Overlord's gonna die. Lair and third base. Very nicely timed third base. Going down for our Zerg player here. Does need to start some units. Evo Chamber going down for those upgrades. Could afford to take some drones off of this main though. Hellions coming out 2 at a time. 4 are already out. So we're going to need to see some defensive play here from the Zerg. The Spine Crawler may come in a great, be extremely useful in guarding against these Hellions. Zergling scouts the Hellions. Going to pick off some creatures. And just the Queen and the Spine to protect these drones. Fortunately, there's not very many drones at the natural. The Queen and the Spine will do a very good job of keeping that all the way. A little behind on the injects here. Hellions do find the third. And we see a couple of lanes from over here. A few run over, but it's not enough to cut these Hellions. They will kite back and eliminate all of the lanes. Losing one Hellion in the process. The second one flirting with death. Not quite getting there. Continuing the macro up at home. Sim is just about finished. And, but no starport on the way. He's going up to 5 barracks. So he's going to rely on these Hellions for map control now. He's got no drop presence for that. And, oh, that was a mistake. There's 4 activities going on here. Continues to poke at the front, but that Spine is still very suspicious. Could try to take on this third, but Hellions will take a long time to do that, and that just gives the Zerg time to bolster up his defenses at home. +1 melee almost done. Infestation pit going down. So he may be rushing for Hive here, but if he does, he needs to take more gases. Terran player getting pretty powerful on 2 bases here. Hellions run in, they're gonna toast up some drones. Getting half a dozen to start. It looks like they're gonna take down this whole mineral line. Taking the punishment from the Spine on this bit. Getting the Zerg players going down to 3rd. Takes out the Queen as well. Toasts the Larva. He does lose most of the Hellions in the process. But I think for that drone count, that may actually be worth it. I'm going down to 3rd. Map control is succeeded. He cannot be that aggressive with just 3 Hellions. And the Zerg is calling him on his bluff. He's building 20 drones right now. Getting right back into it. 1-1 on the way for the Terran. Combat shield on the way. Stim is done, producing Marines, potentially 8 at a time here. Just 5 at the moment. But still, no starport. So he's extremely vulnerable to mass link. He's got no pickups. We need to see some the Spanling Nest get put to use actually. A few Hellions poke forward, but 3 is not enough to deal with the Queen and the Spine Crawler. 2 Spine Crawlers actually. But the bio is moving in. Scan goes down in the main. Does see the Hive on the way. So he may be trying to pressure that. A bunch of Hellions in bio here. Lings flooding out, but 24 Lings is not enough to deal with this army. He may get just punished directly here in the main. And oh no. Here we go. Bio, Hellions moving in. Queen gonna get taken out. Lickety split. Drone's trying to run. They're gonna get pinched off by these Hellions, and they all get toasted right in a line. Only a few escape. Zerglings spawning here, but they're getting destroyed by the bio. Hive is on the way, but there's no time for any of that to come to effect. Natural hatchery goes down. Banelings are morphing, but only 4 of them. And it looks like the Hellions are going to pick them off with the bio sitting safely in the back. Banelings do try to run. Hellbat's morphing. Looks like the armory is done. Infestation chamber goes down. Banelings running and actually take out a couple Marines, but not enough. There's too much here. The drones come to fight, but drones versus Hellbats is not a position ever compete. Looks like the Hive is going to go down next. We have this third over here. Ultralisk Tavern going down there. But with his current resources, we can only afford to build one of them. We may be able to afford to build 2 by the time the tournament gets over there. Again, 2 Ultralisks, this much arms. Not enough. Boring pool's gonna go down, so no more Zerglings. Gaming nest will go down, so extra no more damage. No more Zerglings. Extractor lives here. A few Banelings remain. We need to save those. Hellions run in. Banelings are gonna go for it, but Marauders lead the charge. Very excellent Marauder wall there. Protects all the Marines, all the Hellions. All the Marauders go down, except for one in the back here, but takes care of 12, 16 units. Pushing on the third here, and yeah, there's no time. GG gets called. Match record is 0-1. Tableau Software in the lead. We're going into game 2 between Google Cardboard and Tableau Software. It's going to be a 1v1 on Overgrowth LE. We have DataPlusPlus, the red Protoss, playing here for Google Cardboard, and BikkuriTofu, who I'm probably going to call Tofu, the blue Zerg, playing for Tableau Software. Zerg in the top right, Protoss in the bottom left, Overlord going straight out, Workers building. We have some playful banter to start off the game, and we are underway. So, Overgrowth. Protoss players like this. This is very nice for Protoss. You can take your expansion really quickly in the early game. This is you can wall off. I think it takes just 3 or 4 buildings, unlike other maps where it is much more exposed. These things, although they look decorative, they actually are solid. You cannot walk through these. So the gap to cover is only this size. We'll see if the Protoss does decide to go for that fast expansion. Overlord, more drones. Pylon being built close to the Nexus. Typically, you either want to build it over by the ramp, so you can wall off against Zerglings, or just over here, so you can start the wall to your natural. But unlike in Wings of Liberty, you can get away with this part of the swarm because of the mothership force and its invaluable defensive properties in the early game. 13 gate going down, probe going out. Spawning pool going down for the Zerg fairly early. Will not risk that hatch first. So he will be safe against most things here in the early game. No gas is going down, so he's not going to be rushing speed. No gas is going down for the Protoss either. He actually starts the second pylon with 4 gases. So it looks like he's going to go for a 1-gate expand here. His mineral count is going to climb very quickly. Pro tries to get the deny on the hatchery, but does not. That natural does go down. Gateway is done, so we'll see if he goes for that cyber core, or if he's just going to build that Nexus. Looks like he's going to build the Nexus. He starts a Zealot. Should see that probe go out, and yes, it does. Overlord will scout this pretty quickly. And with spawning a pool first, Protoss has to be careful. If the Zerg player does decide to just build a bunch of slow lanes, he may actually be able to build support. Pylon going down on the top, really delaying these gases. At this point, It's almost too late. Should really start those assimilators. Nice. See if the Zerg does anything in response. Just continues to drone. Not taking any gases himself. So the Protoss is fairly safe. Without Ling speed, punishing the Protoss is hard. Cybercore goes down. Single assimilator. Really, really slow on these gases here. So the Protoss player is going to have a lot of minerals. He may be going for a zealot pressure. That is possible. Although it looks like his probe has been slain. I don't see it on the map anymore. Overlord coming in, and there's not going to be any anti-air out for a while. He could start a Stalker soon. But he may choose to go into Warp Gate first. 6 probes and gases. Nexus is done. 2 Zealots on the ramp. They will get the drone, just barely. 1 swipe to finish it off. Warp Gate starting. Stalker could be started any second, so this Overlord needs to book it. Probe's going down into the natural, and Zerg he's not going to punish this. He's going double gas fairly early. Not a lot of drones at the natural. Does have a bunch of queens, which against this greedy Protoss opening, you don't really need this many queens. He's going to prioritize that creep spread in his life, while he continues to build drones. But the Protoss is actually ahead in workers right now, which is very bad. 2 more gateways going down. Lots of chrono going down on the warp gate. Mothership core is out, so he's very, very slow. And a lair, very fast lair, going down for the Zerg. And a Roach War. We have 1 Overlord here, 1 back in the natural. This one is probably not going to accomplish anything, but there's a lot of dead space over here. So what we may see a Nidus Worm. That may be in the Zerg's repertoire here. He may simply be trying to get quick Roach speed. And actually, the lair is going to finish up like very shortly after this Roach Worm finishes, so he may just be rushing for that real reconstitution. Wall going down. Forge, another gateway, another pylon. Assimilators going down on the natural. Protoss has a very strong economy, and his warp gate is about to finish. Robo going down as well. So it really is on the Zerg to make something happen. He's got no third. He cannot sit on 2 base versus 2 base versus a Protoss, especially a greedy Protoss that connects his active foresight. +1 starting, observer building, so he will figure out within a minute what the Zerg player is up to. Does go for that glial reconstitution here, and starts +1 missiles, so it is going to be a 2 base Roach timing. He may take the third just as he's moving out. Defensive cannon going down. Overlord getting out of here before Stalkers decide to make his day more painful. Another Forge going down, so we're going to have double upgrades. Pylon's going down to watch the base. This Overseer will come and see that. But the window for Nidus is rapidly closing. And it looks like that's not his plan anyway, so it's not going to happen. 4 roaches, 4 more roaches building. Might want to see a macro hatch from this Zerg soon. This money's starting to climb up there. Another observer coming out. Dude, that was a second one. Yes, 2 observers. And it's gonna go take a third. This is a very greedy third. He needs some immortals. He needs some more gateways. His production is not ready to handle what could be a Roach flood from the opposing Zerg player here. Zerg is going for his third, and he's not pushing out, just sitting back home with his roaches. So his window to pressure is also rapidly disappearing. Pretty good creep spread, though. He will have pretty good warning for if and when the Protoss decides to push out. There's actually not a whole lot of visits here. Only 3 gateways worth of production. A little bit of a misstep on the gas here. Twilight Council, Robotics Bay, really rushing up there in attack. Although he's not going for a double upgrade, so these forges aren't being used properly. Does start +1 armor Nexus almost done. Overlord, can he see that? He can see the assimilator, so he knows something's going up. You do see this assimilator taken. Lots of roaches. Observer following. Protoss is very aware of the threat. Roaches are going to move out here. They're going to go try to take this third. Only one immortal is out, a second on the way, so it's questionable whether he can defend this. He will have photon overcharge. He will have defensive sentries. More stalkers warping in, but the low gateway count is going to make defending this very difficult. He's got a lot of minerals that he's not spending. Could afford to have some more zealots. Roaches are going to come in here, and we'll see how the defense goes. Stalkers get distracted by the Overlord. Pylon's going down. How good are the force fields? How good are the force fields? There are no force fields just yet. Overcharge goes down. That Immortal is dishing out lots of punishment. It looks like he might win here, but he loses all of the sentries. All he gets down is his guardian. This may have actually been worth it for the Zerg player. That Overlord barely survives, but it looks like it's going to take him out now. I don't know. So maybe the upgrades might have been what sealed the deal there. That was surprising. I was expecting the roaches to do more damage. More roaches at home. +2 missile attacks on the way. No carapace upgrades, though. 4th Nexus going. Protoss is feeling very good. 3 more gateways going down now. Looking for a way to spend that money. 3rd starting to get saturated. Natural a bit oversaturated. Main looking good. Colossus production has begun. Thermal Lances is done. Charge is starting. Did he get Blink? I did not get Blink. Just going for Charge. Second move out of Roaches, but I think this move out is, smaller than the previous one. So he may actually be fine, especially with the Colossus bolster here. He will need to cancel this next time. He cannot do it. There he goes. The last second. Let's just go with the cancel. They need to run. And so they do. We have Enduring Locust being researched here in the infestation pit. Hive is already done. So we are going to see Swarm Hosts soon. Unfortunately, the Protoss player already has that Colossus production going. Researching +3 weapons, but still not taking advantage of the same forge. You may have forgotten about it. Overlord's still sitting here. Squadron of roaches running around. Looks like they will take out these rocks. 4th going down for the Zerg. As well as for the Protoss. We also want to take that very far rather than the forward one. The simulators with pylon stranded. Rocks are down. 6 swarm hosts about to pop. There they go. There's 5 of them. 1 more probably coming from the main. We'll see what he does with these. Protoss is moving out on the map, so it's going to be hard for him to get a siege hold on the natural or 3rd. In fact, next to impossible. Observer actually spots these, although it's unclear whether the Protoss notice. Storm hosts are going to run here. He needs to protect them. Armies passing by each other. I don't think the Zerg knows that the Protoss is coming in here. He's got no visibility, doesn't have this watchtower. Or we might be in a base trade scenario here. Protoss moves in. Pylons going up for reinforcements, and the roaches do retreat. The swarm hosts keep going, though. He is going to lose this turn immediately. Don't get slaughtered. Indecision here, costing the Zerg precious time. He is going to go for the counter, decides he cannot handle that army. Locusts go out, but they need to go somewhere. They're not going anywhere. Alright, here he goes. He's going to siege up the natural, but a recall. Perfect recall here. Attack this army. Observer is out, so he will be able to go for those swarm hosts. Roaches tried to get the Colossus here, but they got caught up on all these zealots. Zealots are tanking the Locusts. All these swarm hosts are going to go down. Huge supply deficit now in favor of the Protoss. 67 workers to 48. Base taken down. That was a perfect recall there to defend his 3rd expansion. 9 more swarm hosts on the way. But without a roach buffer, the Zealous will just tank the Locust and move in. One lone Swarm Hook here. Trying to defend his home world. He will get taken out. The Observer is here. More Swarm Hooks getting taken out before they can even spawn Locusts. Zealous moving in, tanking all those Locusts. Swarm Hooks getting taken down. Supply looking really bad for Zerg now. Alright. We're going into game 3 here between Google Cardboard and Tableau Software. The score is 1-1. It's a toss-up. This is now essentially a best of 3 for both teams. We are going to have a TVZ here on Catallena Ladder Edition. We have myself, the Red Terran, torquestomp, spawning in the northerly position for Google Cardboard. And in the westerly position, we have Cabbage, the blue Zerg for Tableau Software. Of note, this is actually a Captain v Captain match. Torquestomp here is captain of the Google Cardboard team, and Cabbage is captain of the Tableau Software team. So we'll see how that shapes up. Overlord moving out in the correct direction, fortunately enough for him. Supply depot going down here for our Terran player. This game obviously is being recasted from replay. As I'm participating in it, I did not have access to everything while playing the game. Or I most certainly would have won in a most spectacular fashion. Going into this. Zerg continues to drone. Barracks goes down. See if he goes for that pool first, or if he goes for the hatchery. 12 refinery for our Terran player, so he will be getting that quick Reaper. He'll be able to build the Reaper almost immediately after the barracks finishes. And our Zerg player here is going for that hatch first. So he will need to do a little bit of drone dancing versus this Reaper. If he does wish to keep his drones alive. He will not have Queen out. He will most definitely not have Queen out in time. He may barely have some Linggy out in time. But if he only makes 2 or 4, Reaper will kite and kill those. Spawning pool going down at 16. Fairly greedy. Orbital and Reaper going. We see the SCV heading out. Even though he has the Reaper, so because his opponent could spawn in one of 2 locations, this may actually be intentional. By the time the Reaper spawns, the SCV will have just about reached one of those bases, and so you will know that he has spawned at the. So when the SCV enters here and sees no base, then he knows for sure that the Zerg is over here instead. Whereas if he did see a base here, then he could adjust the course of this Reaper and immediately go to the other base. But yeah, SCV retreats, sees no base here. Reaper will go out towards the other base. And we do have 2 Zerglings, 2 Queens on the way. 2 Zerglings is not enough to handle this Reaper, though. He is going to have to do something. The second pair of Zerglings started right now. Spawning pool is up. Gas just starting to be mined. Reaper's going to micro around here against these Zerglings. Looks like he will pick them off. Command center going down for our Terran player. Reaper and the Natural going to hunt down this drone. Looks like the drone will go become distracted. And, Reaper cannot fight a Queen one-on-one, so he does take off there. So all in all, no real damage. Looks like he killed 1 Zergling. Got some hit points dealt on a couple drones, but no kills on those. Reaper goes to hide up here. Up. Fortunately, he gives away his position, taking some pot shots at those Zerglings. So the Zerglings start moving out now. Factory, another barracks. Command center almost done. Zerg is building 8 more drones now. Got speed on the way. Reaper goes in for another look-see. We'll see this speed building. Sees no other buildings, no gas. Reaper's quite confused. Looks like he may die for his confusion. Especially if he runs by to set the queen. He does. He does get killed. Sees a spore crawler in each base though. Very strange. He may cancel those. He might be suspecting Banshee. Orbital building. Marines 2 at a time from this barracks. Should see a tech lab on the next barracks. Starport building almost done. Widow mines on the way. Defensive widow mine on the way. Marines move out here. Looks like they're just going to try to secure that position. Roach Warren and Baneling Nest on the way. No third. No layer. Looks like no macro hatch either. Looks like we're going to see some pretty early aggression here from our Zerg. Bunker going down. Zerglings here. We'll pick off the SCV, but not enough to this marine count. Only one of them escapes. Widow mine burrowed by the bunker front. Medevac out. We may see some drop pressure on the way. Natural looking very nice and saturated. Only 2 geysers for our Zerg, and again, no layer just yet. He is delaying that tech. He is delaying his third. We do have 10 roaches on the way. So the aggression will be coming on. Swiftly and verily. 5 of them already out, 9 more still building. There's not a whole lot of defense here for our Terran. This Widow Mine needs to burrow. Ling is following a medevac here. Medevac seems to be looking for that third. But he will not find it. He will find an Overlord instead. He will get that. Ling is running now, but the medevac is already taken off. He may go somewhere else. More Lings coming. Roaches pushing out. Baneling us is done, so the bust is coming. Those Lings will rally out now. We need some more defense here for our Terran. He's got 2 more racks on the way. Double Widow Mines in production. But there's not enough. I think there's not enough at this wall to hold. Lots of Banelings building. 11 thus far. Needs more Widow Mines. Does he have an Overseer? Does not have an Overseer to pick up the Widow Mines. There's so many Banelings. So much is going to be running in here. He's going to poke forward with a few units at first. Widow Mine goes off on them with water. More Widow Mines out, but they're not burrowing. They need to burrow. 2 of them get picked off first. 1 of them will go off on a roach. SCV sacrificing themselves trying to buffer against that army, but there's simply not enough army. Banelings go off onto command center. It does lift up just before it starts burning. More SCVs getting slaughtered. 38 drones, 20 SCVs. Flames, roaches flooding in. He may try to bust up this flank. We'll need to make some more Banelings. There's Widow Mines about to go off. Killed a bunch of Zerglings. This one looks like it's already gone off again. Supply depot getting taken out. Orbital command covering. Third goes down. Lair finally started in the main, so he's not looking to end this on 2 bases, and he shouldn't. It's quite unwise if he were to try. 2 Banelings go down on that supply depot. Loses the rest of them though. Roaches and Lings coming up here, but there's not enough. Widow Mine does remain. Command center lands, trying to move to reclaim his natural. Roaches here, spazzing out quite. There's not. I think there's not enough army anymore to handle this though. Not with 3 marauders. Just try to engage, realize it's not that. I'm just getting picked off. His medevac full of Marines really probably should have been home a little bit earlier. Continuing to chase down these roaches to see how far he chases. More Zerglings incoming. Army advantage actually heavily in favor of this. 5 Widow Mines here. It may prove to be quite enough. Takes out a bunch of Lings and Banelings. Takes out the spine. But with this amount of Lings and Roaches coming, no more Widow Mine shots to go. Looks like our Terran player will have to retreat. They will retreat to drop over here on the 3rd base. Units will come to defend quite rapidly, though. He does drop down the tracking and much good. We will have to pick up the gun. And so he does. All in all, he's actually still even in supply. Quite behind our workers anyhow, but not able to capitalize against these Banelings and Overseers. Medevacs are moving in. Lings and Roaches are moving in. More supply depots, and Medevacs reaching his supply levels once again. Double engineering bay and armory here, but still only 1-1 on these units. Needs to start 2-2 if he wants to stay in this game in the long run. Medevac going into the main. Pair of Medevacs going here towards the 3rd. Looks like they will pick off on the track. Widow Mine goes for a money shot. Will it get it? Gets a few guns for trouble. The medevac will get picked off. Meanwhile, the 2nd drop does go straight into the 3rd. The army's out of position, but he's going to get a couple of drones. They do not get running. The Banelings will go off and take out the Marines. Medevacs will have to run. There's not a lot of Mutalisks though, so they're actually probably going to make it. Lots of army back at home. Despite the economic deficit, the government is actually keeping up. Zerg Popes doesn't want to engage. May or may not have seen the Widow Mines go first. Zerglings, Lings, and Roaches. For his upgrades out. He is also at 1-1, starting +2 melee just now. Single turret going down the main. Still no upgrades on the engineering base though. Needs to start those. Terran player is moving out here, holding this position. Maybe looking to apply some more pressure. Scan goes down, and seeing nothing defending this 3rd, he's definitely going to do that. Takes out a creep tuner, takes out a 2nd creep tuner. Army's in position. Widow Mines burrow. Retreat! Shots go off, kill a ton of Banelings. And there's not enough left. Zerg Army is getting shredded. He's going to take this 3rd. Blow up to a massive defensive attack at home. Lots of medevacs, millions of marauders, +2 attack now in there. Behind +2 medevacs. Killed a bunch of drones. See what he does with this next. More and more Banelings morphing in. A significant army advantage here for our Terran, actually. He does decide to retreat, contend with taking out that 3rd. He's going to start a 3rd of his own. Should maybe transfer some workers. Oh, and I think this is a mistake. I think it's a mistake for the Terran player to hold back here. With enough Marine micro, probably could have taken this out. Zerg player continues to going to double expand here. He will take a 4th and a 3rd at the same time. Try to spend that money. +2 melee, almost done for him. No +2 armor for our Terran just yet. Very low on the minerals. He only 34 SCVs and going on 3 bases. So not doing very well at all. Even had to use supply drop to get some supply back. This muta baneling flop will run around. Turn ahead and supply, double up on supply. It does lose a bunch of that to with this drop right here. Second drop moving in. Zerg is staying ahead in supply, slowly catching up an army. The economy is Terran drops in there, gets the queen. Looks like he's going to focus down the infestation hit. And he does get it. The last shot right there. Questionable whether that was worth it, since the hive was, in fact, already started. But if the Zerg can time to get on infestors, that does put a bit of a crimp in his plans. Fourth base getting pretty saturated. Third base already quite saturated. His main is just about mined out. Terran's main getting there as well. Only a few minerals left. +2 armor on the way. Engagement happening here in the middle of the map. See if he runs in. Marauders in front for the most part. Do tank a lot of that damage. Looks like he might try to clear out some of this creep. He should. So he will take that. Army supplies now equalized, and the Zerg with a much better economy is pulling ahead nearly 30 in supply, and that deficit is going to continue to grow as long as the Terran does not make something happen here. There's a +3 weapons on the way. Zerg is sitting on +1 flyer, +2, +1. Runs in here. We need to see the Marauders stay back and the Marines continue running, but that's not happening. More and more skims. Widowmines do burrow and the retreat does happen. Picks off a squad of Zerglings. Most of the Banelings survive though. Plenty of medevacs to get this army back up to health. But again, Terran player very low SCV count. His economy is just not, he can't keep up with the Zerg in the long term with this SCV count. More Zergs in his building. He is going to run to defend this third here. Widowmine's burrowing. One of them will get focused down. Does try to poke at the other one. Doesn't get it. Widowmine's continuing to burrow. Aggressive missions. He's going to get another one, just barely. Stimming, poking, prodding. Even unsupplied. Sim's getting healed quite nicely by medevacs. Nice Zerg going to take out a They will run in. Banelings get detonated by a bunch of Widowmines. Bunch of Marines go down. Not enough micro backwards. This army gets cleaned up. There's no anti left. Medevacs getting shredded. One remains. Huge mutaflop here with +1 attack. No anti on the ground. 3 Widowmines. One of them does get a shot off, kills a couple mutants. But there's so little anti-air here. SCV's getting shredded apart. Medevac goes down again. Marauders can't do anything. GG is called. We are entering Game 4 of the series. The score is currently 2-1 Tableau software. We're going to have a 1v1 here on Inferno pools between Tigenzero, the blue Zerg, and Mimimi, the red random, playing for Google Cardboard. So we'll see what the dice have rolled, and it's Protoss. So it's going to be a ZVP here on Inferno pools. Favorable spawns here for the Zerg, as it is cross spawns, which is not a guarantee in this game. You can have vertical spawns, you could have horizontal spawns, which are inevitably much worse for the Zerg, who wants to have as much room as possible to get that economy going. So he will be happy to discover that it is cross spawns when he does eventually. That's interesting. He set this Overlord on patrol? all the way down to this point. And he just changed it. So, or no, he didn't. No. That's odd. So maybe he's patrolling. That's. I wonder why would one do that. Why would you patrol to a point? I guess maybe to save the Overlord from a potential Phoenix in the late game, or in the mid lane, the mid game, I should say. Oh well. All right. So standard openings thus far for both players. Pylon on the ramp. So there will be a defensive gateway position. We'll see whether the Zerg goes for that greedy hatch first. Very unlikely versus a random opponent. Because if they do decide to cheese, there's 3 different kinds of cheese you can prepare for. Yeah, so he will throw down that spawning pool. You really don't have much of a choice against a random opponent, even on a large map. He doesn't know that his opponent is not close spawns. So he does have to go for that spawning pool. And he will get a gas right after it. So he's going to favor that early speed. The second pylon going down, and as with DataPlusPlus, no assimilators. Alright, so he's starting it now. But assimilator after the second pylon is typically late. You typically don't see that from a Protoss player. Drone going down to the natural here will claim that hatchery. 3 drones going onto the gas. We do have a Zealot starting here. This is not enough to complete a wall, but it's certainly enough to make entry. Cybercore, second Geyser. We'll see if the Zerg decides to pull off. I suspect that's what he'll do. He'll just grab the speed and then focus on minerals for a few minutes. Neither player having scouted their opponent yet. The Zerg does know that his opponent is not here. That is something. But he still doesn't know where he is. He will know once he scouts that he's not here as well. That Protoss is in the bottom left. But our Protoss has no idea. 6 Lings coming out. That's a surprising number. Speed started. Drones are pulled off gas. Just 8 sitting in the reserves right there. Mothership core just about out. So these Lings won't be able to do anything. These are probably defensive more than anything. You may be expecting some aggression. Potentially these were made in anticipation of cannon play. Well, actually they couldn't be. He still doesn't know the race of his opponent. We do have to keep that in mind. He does know his opponent is down here by now, or he will once this Overlord sees that there's no base in the main here. But until he sees this Mothership core, which this Overlord will spot, we'll see if he goes through on that. Yeah, so the Mothership core should be passing this Overlord here. Sees it on his mini-map, but he doesn't appear... Yeah, he didn't look at it, so he doesn't necessarily know. Roach Warren down. Defensive spine in the main. He really doesn't know what he's up against here. Doesn't even know the race yet, since he has not yet seen that Mothership core. Mothership core will pass by the Overlord again. Give him a second chance to know the identity of his opponent. But he knows for sure now, since he's got a Zergling attacking that Nexus. Zergling will have to run. A single Speedman will have to run. 5 Seedling and Spine still sitting at home. This is, again, since our Protoss player is not being aggressive, this is effectively wasting them. He doesn't need these. These could have been drones. This one definitely could have been a drone. Second Extractor going down. Roach Warren done. 7 drones on the way. Another Spine. So plenty of defense, but his opponent is not being aggressive. So that money is not being spent wisely. Probes will start mining down here at the natural. Just a Mothership core for defense, which is very risky on the part of our Protoss player. Had our opponent decided to Speedling flood, he would be dead. He would most certainly be dead. Probes goes in, scouts the Spine, Zerglings. No roaches being done yet. You in fact go for a lair instead. Fairly quick lair. All geysers taken, but only 1 mining. Alright, there we go. Second one mining now. Let's see if he decides to take these. Given the proliferance of extractors and the quick lair, I think we're going to see Spire play, which may play well since our Zerg player is going Robo. There's no Stargate. 13 more drones on the way. Forge on the way. This Nexus is actually, with this number of sentries, 6 of them. Lots of energy. This Nexus is actually really good. Spore Crawler going down in the main. Zerg trying to cover all of his bases here at the expense of his economy. He does only have 10 drones fighting in his main. Natural is becoming a bit oversaturated. Another Spore going down. Overlord just watching the natural here. Keeping an eye on the saturation. Observer going out. Oh, so I had it backwards. The Forge is in the main here. That's actually probably good. Having your upgrades cancelled can be catastrophic. Whereas having a single unit cancelled is not so bad. Not as bad, I would say, than having a critical upgrade cancelled. More lanes. Spire down. So it is going to be relatively quick Mutalisk here. It's a bit late. He's not going to have that by the 10-minute mark. But by 11 minutes, he will be able to start that. And he's taking a Ninja third. So it looks like it's going to be... so this is a build that was popular in Wings of Liberty. I think it has fallen out of favor in Heart of the Swarm due to the anion pulse crystals, the upgrade for Phoenix range. Phoenix are intended to be the end-all be-all to the end-all for Mutalisks. But as they have range 4 and Mutalisks have range 3, kiting Mutalisks effectively without taking damage is actually really difficult with Phoenix, especially when the Mutalisks outnumber the Phoenix terribly. But with anion pulse crystals, an upgrade you can get at the Fleet Beacon, Phoenix have range 6, which makes Mutalisk absolute cannon fodder for them. It is extremely easy to kite out of range and tear them apart with that bonus to light. The build our Zerg player seems to be going for here is he's going to get the Spire. He's got tons of gas, so he's going to flood Mutalisks. He's going to sit here on his 2 base with defensive spines, and he's going to hope that the Protoss doesn't find this third. He's going to try to keep the Protoss on 2 bases with those Mutalisks, which he should actually be able to cancel this third. There are sentries here, but there's no mobile anti here. Twilight Council is on the way though, so he may go for... He'll probably go for charge, given his Zealot count. But what he really needs is Blink to deal with this flood of Mutalisks. The Observer is here. Did he leave before he saw the Mutalisk, though? That's the question. The Mutalisk may fly right by him on the way to his opponent. Bunch of pylons going down here. 3 of us fly by. 5 more Mutalisks on the way. Alright, so let's watch the Mutalisk count here. So we're at 12. 1 more on the way, so it's going to be 13 Mutalisks. Most of them did fly past the Observer here. They were seen, so the army is going to move out here defensively. What you really want to complement these Mutalisks are a large number of speed rings to spend the minerals that you bank due to the gas-heavy Mutalisks. Mutalisks will actually fly past the third here. We're going to main 2 cannons set up for defense. Oh, there they go. They go for the third here. He needs to save the probes. He's going to lose a couple of them there, but the sentry count will defend it. And then Overcharge back here in the main should defend. Does park the Mutas here, but again with Overcharge, double Overcharge, may actually save the Mothership Quarter, and he does. He barely just saved that. With 2 Overcharges, he can't do it. 2 cannons. It's actually wasting a whole bunch of Mutalisks here by flying the cannons and Overcharge. We will go for the natural instead. Well, actually, there is no defense. There is a hole to use here. It does pick off that pylon, but debatable whether that's worth it. Link almost done. Thermal Lance is stuck. Does get a few more probes for his troubles. But as we see, as he's microing on these Mutalisks, he's banking a lot of money. Enough to build 8 more Mutalisks. Actually, there's a bunch more at home. He's got a total of 16 at the moment. And it could be more, but he actually lost. This used to be 13, remember. This used to be 13 Mutalisks, and he lost 8 of them running around his bases. Kill off a handful of probes, but not enough to justify, I think, the cost of these mutalisks. Cannon's going down for defense, and Protoss is going to move out. He forgot his mothership core. He may be leaving this for overcharge, but I think with the number of cannons he's leaving behind, he doesn't need overcharge. Protoss will move out here. Sees nothing at the gold. He's going to just muscle up onto the natural. Bases over here, so far unscouted, but they've got very few drones. Very little to take advantage here. And it's debatable whether he has an answer for this army. He does have a lot of mutalisks, but with this amount of Guardian Shield, it's actually going to be very difficult. Lots of Stalkers, lots of Sentries. He is going to focus down, it looks like, the Colossus, and he will. That actually doesn't really matter, because he's got no ground army that's fodder for the Colossus that he's protecting. So it's going to have to take down his Flamethrowers. I think this is GG here for the Zerg player. He's building 40 lanes, but these units, they already have +2, +1, +3, +2 on the way. In fact, +2 armor is just about to finish. 20 more seconds. Force Field's keeping the drones out. Drones get slaughtered. Protoss now doubling his opponent's supply. He has a bunch of useless Corruptors. The Colossus are gone. These Corruptors can't be used for anything. He is trying to build defensive spines, but it's too late. There is not enough power here to take down sentry structure. With his own. More Mutalisks come out, but again, just another Guardian Shield. There's too much into here. The drone count is eviscerated. Only 6 drones remain. 3 over here, and 1 over here. There's about to go down. All this tech is forfeit. They're having only 36 supply. His ability to recover essentially very low. Protoss banking a lot of money. It doesn't and here we go. So we have myself, torquestomp, the Red Terran, spawning in the northerly position here on Vaani Research Station. And we have Cabbage, the Blue Zerg, spawning in the southerly position. Not really an advantage either way, because the map is merely a reflection symmetry and not rotational symmetry. In both cases, the one difference you would have between these different rotations is, where does the barracks add-on go? That's a small difference that does play a little bit into games on the different maps, whether the default position for the barracks puts the add-on inside the base or outside the base, or whether it needs to be lifted up and moved in order for the add-on to go down. Just subtle, tiny little differences. We have that supply depot going down for our Terran. Looks like he'll start the racks on 12. No surprises there. We'll see if Cabbage goes for the hatch first. So on this map, you have this backdoor expansion, and I say backdoor because it's backside, but it's actually not a door. So this expansion is actually completely ground inaccessible. The only way to get to it is through the main. So it's extremely safe to take this expansion, because to defend it, you just have to defend this narrow high ground ramp, as opposed to a more wide space like down here. We do see the Zerg will actually go and take that early expansion. And we see the Terran. Terran actually grabbed a slightly later gas. He did not go for that 12 gas here. So it looks like he will get a Marine before he gets his Reaper. Spawn pool going down on 16 for our Zerg here. Supply depot. He does. He is building that Marine. He is building that Orbital. Overlord moving in here. The Marine is, of course, extremely useful for getting rid of such pesky Overlords. He's going to start moving around there now. Another Overlord going out. You see that Cabbage here really likes to spread his Overlords, which is very useful for scouting, but when the Terran has so much anti-air, it can prove relatively risky. And yes, we see this Marine scaring away the Overlord very early on. Does not get in close enough to see if a command center is taken. He knows from the timing that it could not have been command center first, or this Marine would simply not be out. But he doesn't know if that base is even going to be taken at this point. Reactor goes down. Reaper out. Gas mining for our Zerg. He'll be able to get speed in a short little while. And meanwhile, the Reaper looks like he's going to encounter some Zerglings. Runs straight past them. Takes a couple hits. But the Zerglings cannot catch him. They are too slow. It looks like they're going to get picked off here. One Zergling tries to slow it down, but that is not happening. This other one is going to get picked off. It looks like it will probably not even get to the camp in time. Does get picked off, in fact. So our Zergling is riding on almost no information. If we look at his vision here, yeah, all he's got is this Overlord. That is, he's going to see when the natural starts moving, if it does, but that's about it. He is going very blindly here. Engineering Bay is going down nice and early, so we're going to get some quick upgrades for this tower player. In fact, starting +1 attack right away. Natural's finished. This should turn into an orbital relatively soon. Reapers goes in here. Does confirm that the natural exists. He is not getting one base all in by this Zerg. We'll skedaddle on out of there. 2 more barracks. Stim pack. Second tech lab. Marines 2 at a time out of the reactor. And lair on the way for our Zerg. Again, before third base. So fairly techy build. Baneling Nest going down. May try to get aggressive here. Got a nice healthy drone count. 40 drones to 24 SCVs for this early game. Combat shield, start of the second tech lab. So these Marines are going to be very nicely upgraded very early. We see Zerg taking his third, but no Evo chambers. So he's probably going to be behind these upgrades for some time. Helps out with some Zerglings, but it would be quite silly if the Terran were to have a third at this point. So it looks like he's just trying to keep an eye on the front. Building up his third. Got an extractor. No one mining on it in the main. This landscape. Third gas going down for our Terran. +1 just about to finish. Zerglings poke up, but they're not getting anywhere through this. They're not getting through this wall. No Marine sitting out there. Overlord just watching the mining over here. Combat shield done. Stim almost done. +1 finishes and +1 armor is now starting. Spire on the way for our Zerg. A fairly early Spire. So he is going to be going for that quick air pressure. Getting that creep spread going. Starting that third queen. Lots of bio sitting here in the main. He actually has a bunker. Potentially afraid of a mainly bust. Double Widowmine starting to this round. Just the one for now, but the potential. Starport's going to build its own reactor. So he will delay those Mendivacs in favor of Widowmine production. Scan goes down in the main, does see the Spire right before it finishes. Sees those centrifugal hooks, sees those Ego Chambers started. +1 melee, +1 carapace on the way. I'm behind +1 armor for the Terran though. So the Terran will have 1-1 before the Zerg has any upgrades. Third building, more geysers going down. So he's going to commit pretty heavily to these Mutalisks, it seems. Good saturation in all of his bases. Terran also looking pretty good. Healthy SCV saturation in both places. Zerg tried to build some Banelings here, but it looks like he chose the worst time to do so, as they do all get picked off by this bio, moving out at the same time, right as he builds his third base as well. Bunch of Lings floating out here, but not enough to deal with this army should it decide to move out. So he will have to build some more. And he does. So 6 Mutalisks on the way. That Spire is done. Centrifugal Hook's almost done as well. We should see some Banelings begin to morph in for this Zerg defensively. Because the Terran is moving out. He's moving out without medevacs. He does have 2 on the way. They will catch up. Leading with the Widow Mines here. He's going to have to play very carefully. Not to take damage. Pokes forward with the army. He does start to retreat though. With these Widow Mines going down. Second Widow Mine goes up clean, not very useful at all. Runs in here with the Baneling, gets some damage. While the Marine's running back and the Marauder's tanking, he cannot engage with his Mutalisk. He actually loses a lot of army here. Terran loses some as well. And most importantly, he just doesn't have a lot of healing. He only has 2 medevacs right now. See if he decides to poke in again. Does have a slight army advantage. And supply disadvantage due to the disparate armies. Third is done. Orbital building. 2 more barracks going down for a total of 7. Terran player does retreat. Looks like he will send a drop-off, though. More Banelings building. Lots of Banelings. Not a lot of Zerglings. Which is very good versus a Marine-heavy composition. But with those Marauders mixed in, and the Widow Mines to fall back on, this can melt very quickly, if you are not careful. Does take his 4th up to 61 drones. Could go a little bit higher to saturate the 4th as well. Terran player building some SCVs, starting to get his 3rd saturated. More add-ons going down. Medevacs, +2 attack on the way. Quite late, this armory was finished a little while ago. +1 fire attacks, just finishing for our Zerg. Army retreating to handle a medevac, it seems. Doesn't look like there was anything in it though. It's been empty medevac. Small little distraction. Looks like he's going to try to pick off his overwork here. But the Lings are already running over him. Doubtful they'll even get it. And in fact, he gets surrounded and destroyed. Medevac needs to boost away. Starts at the last second, but gets picked off by those Mutalisks. Fairly even so far. And here we go. Another move out from our Terran player. Seems he's been aggressive enough to keep these Mutas back defensively. +2 attack. Almost finished. Might want to wait a little longer for that. Continuing to go with the CVs. Using all of these barracks. He's going to push out the creep here. And start burrowing these Widow Mines. Zerglings run in. Banelings get taken, a huge number of Banelings taken out by those Widow Mines. And the Zerg has to retreat. Gets some damage to the front lines here, but not enough. Lots of Mutalisks. He is actually doing fairly well against the Marines. He actually takes out all the Marines. Not enough in this army. But he does lose a bunch more Mutalisks to those Widow Mines. Picking them off one by one with these Mutalisks. Picking off the Marines as well. But he will lose one more Mutalisk. But this army is all Marauders, so the Terran player has to retreat. Overall, a fairly good trade for the Terran. Medevac's boosting back, Marauders sitting here. But they're all for creeps, so the Zerg does not know they are there. More Zerglings. Hive on the way. 2-2 started as well. +3/+2 on the way for our Terran player. Starts to go to command center here, and it looks like it's going to take out this Overlord with pair of Overlords. You actually need 2 Widow Mines. Zerg poking forward here, respreading that creep. You will see soon enough this army, which is moving back here. More medevacs for the healing. 5 in total. You may see an engagement here soon. Terran's not going to sit for long. Lots of Baneling and morphing in. Only a few in the actual army. 6 of them. Widow Mines spreading out. Creep getting cleared out. Marauder's poking around to take out those tree tumors. Does run in here, but he's going to take some Widowmine hits. The overkill at the time. Tons of Banelings get taken out. The rest of them are wasted on the Marauders. Thin Marines with +2/+1, backed up by these Marauders, are going to be enough to hold the Mutalisks off. 38 more Zerglings on the way. +2 armor is done. He's now 2/2 bio and 1/1 Zerg. 76 units fighting out, but fourth is forfeit, and the Zerglings will get shredded on the way out. Drones picked off as well. Bio's going to continue to move in here. We'll engage with these Zerglings. Banelings forming. Mutalisks getting picked up by the Marines. More Zerglings run in. Banelings are just about to finish. They will run in. Some on the Marauders. Enough Mutalisks here to look like pick off all the things here. And the Terran loses. The Zerg loses everything but his Mutalisks in the process though. All of those things. And so he's going to need another round of injects if he wants to get that much army out again. Zerg here we see falling behind on that money. 3,000 minerals, 1,000 gas dead. Single Mutalisk here looks like it's going to get to pick off another back. The other one does escape through the mercy of that one Mutalisk. The flock here, 12 of them sitting around. 10 Marines at a time, +2 vehicle weapons, drilling claws on the way. Terran's going to move out again. He's got a healthy supply advantage, over 50 over his opponent. Same worker count for him. He has a better economy than all of his units. He's going to push here to the 4th and take out, or the 5th, I should say. He will take out that match. No cancel. Mineral pushing here, taking out all of these overlords. We need to see Banelings started, but the Lings are finishing just now. Creep Tumors getting taken out. Marines poking forward, but there's no Banelings. Widowmines spread out, cover the defense. Cannot afford to run those Zerglings in, now with so many Widowmines there. Looks like he will try to go again. Vampire cautiously poking forward. Does run the Marines back. Banelings splash on the Marauders, and the Widowmines take out all the Mutalisks. Down in second. Marines go for the 4th. More bio running down here. Zerg has no army. He needs all the units. Scan goes down. Army moving in. Lots more Widowmines. And that is it. So Google Cardboard takes it. 3-2, winning the ace match over Tableau software here. This puts Google Cardboard at a record of 1-1 for the season thus far. Presumably, if the Swiss format is being followed, this also puts Tableau software at 0-2 for the season thus far. So we'll see Google Cardboard play a slightly more difficult team, I think, for the next game than Tableau software will be playing. This is a Swiss format league, which means you generally play teams that have the same win-loss record that you do. And this funnels teams to gradually play teams of closer and closer skill as the tournament goes on, which is very nice. Keeps the games exciting, keeps players interested. All right, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and if you're on the AHGL, good luck in the rest of your games and the rest of your season. All right, signing off.